¿Oyes eso? Son los rumores del cambio que trae el mar. Abre los ojos. El resplandor del sol asoma en todo el Caribe. La transformación se respira en las calles de todo el continente azul. El mundo nos pide a gritos que nos juntemos, que unamos nuestras voces. En tus manos tienes el poder de construir un futuro mejor, para ti, para ellas, para todas. Trasciende.
Pues bienvenidos a este Women Economic Forum Caribbean. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Women Economic Forum Caribbean. It is a pleasure to be here to serve you all. Today, I am going to be talking to you about emotional healing, reprogramming your belief systems. I am Sandra Hassan with Extraordinary ACBI, and it's a pleasure to be here with this group of women, empowering other women to change the way we do things in the world. So let's start with emotional healing. What does that mean? I know we hear it a lot, but to understand emotional healing, we must understand what is it that we believe. Why do we believe in what we believe? Where those belief systems come from? What is that belief system that we had inherit, acquire, develop from everywhere and anywhere, from people? What do we believe about people in general? What do we believe in knowledge? What do we believe in money? Um, what do we believe about situations? Things like that. Events in life, for example, what's going on right now in the world. So I would love to talk to you about belief systems and how they come about. And the reason is because once we understand our belief systems, how they were developed, where they came from, we tend to understand more who we are, why we behave in such a way, and how those belief systems can be an empowering belief system or the meaningful belief system. So let's discuss this in a general matter. As we grow up, we tend to acquire a certain belief systems from our parents because my mother did it, because my grandmother did it, right? Because this is the way it's been done for years. So belief systems are also traditions, okay? Um, Belief systems are your faith. Belief systems are your ethics. There's a ton of belief systems out there. So again, where they come from, why do we collect them? How do they impact us? And how that could be a great thing or not such a great thing. So when you start growing up as a child, you start collecting data from the moment you learn how to walk, and you hear sound, and it's a language, and you learn that language, and events starts to happen, and all of a sudden your mind, which by the way, it's not you, you're not your mind, you are a being, a great being, powerful being. Your mind is a great tool that came with us. It's better than a computer, so it collects data. And all that data, again, those are events, situations, things that has happened to us throughout all our years. So every now and then, when we look at something current, there's an emotion that comes at the moment. And I will suggest that you question that emotion, because I can guarantee you a lot of those emotions that we feel today are related to some kind of data, okay, or belief system from the past. Probably it's not our current situation. So therefore may not be our truth. And I will tell you why. If you look back on lots and lots of events, you tend to make decisions based on those events. Yes or no? Your brain, again, your mind, it's a great tool. So it is the best, by the way, algorithm you can possibly have, because it's such a great and efficient tool that when you're in certain situations similar to something in the past, your brain tends to bring everything related to that. So it goes back into all those files and it brings every single memory from then. Every memory comes with an attachment, which is a feeling. And feeling is just that, an emotional thing that comes and goes. Now, in order for you to go through the algorithm, right, because it does that to you, it's a great tool, like I said, you must talk to your brain in a powerful way and question the intent, keyword, intent. In the moment of a situation, that you feel stressed, challenged, something difficult happened. It brings you back to bad situations, things that happened to you in the past, because again, the brain is bringing all that data back and bringing all those feelings with that data. You must question your mind. Remember, it's a tool, it's not you. And ask the questions like, is this the same situation? Exact same situation? Are you giving me evidence of the exact same thing? Keyword evidence. The answer may be no. Am I the same person that I was at that time, in that moment when it happened? The answer probably would be no. Everybody changes. Everybody evolves. You become stronger. You become better. But the mind, such a great tool, keeps bringing back all that data, all that algorithm. So in order for you to heal your emotions, your belief system must change. That you're not that individual anymore. That things have changed, but your mind needs to help you. And so you need to start training your mind, just like we train a muscle, just like we train something new, acquire a new skill. Okay, the same way we can train our mind to only bring us that specific data that is powerful, that is useful to become better beings, to create better things, as opposed to the other files that we have. We all have those files, okay? I know we all go through different things. For some people, that file or that data algorithm could be something like bankruptcy, an idea that didn't flourish, a business that went belly up, a divorce, a loss of a loved one, especially nowadays. Trauma, depends where you come from. If you come from a conflicted country or conflicted environment, all those things eventually will have a file in that mind and it will stay there. They will not they're not going away. They will stay there because it's part of your life. It's who you are. But you're not your mind. You're not those things anymore. You're not there anymore. You are in today's world and you're not the same person. So we have to continually and constantly, consciously educate our mind when all those things come about. So again, the power of questions. One of the things that I always ask myself when I'm in a situation that I'm not comfortable with, I always ask myself, I wonder what this means. Is it interpretation of my mind, the story my mind is telling me and I'm believing it? Or is it just a misinterpretation? Is this a fact? Is this an evidence of today's reality? Or it's just a file from the past? What else could this mean? Get curious. Curious minds, phenomenal. Why do you want to ask yourself those questions? Because you want to evolve. We want evolution, not revolution. And I think a lot of women in the world, we're emotional beings. And thank God for that. We're created that way. We're phenomenal beings because of that. That's the reason we are mothers. However, if we learned that we're not our minds, that we're great beings, powerful beings, and we don't relate to that data, that it's just an event that happened, it's stated there as a collective, data, we can move forward with evolution and create great things, better things. You can actually change the world with one thought. One example, I am a daughter of a traditional lady who believes that you get married, you stay home, you raise children, and you're done your deed. You're being a great individual, being a great mother. And indeed, she is a great mother. However, I was exposed to a different world, a world of possibilities, where women actually have careers, where they can develop jobs, businesses, powerful women. And so I'm introduced to two different worlds. And now I know, because I've been given evidence, keyword evidence, that there are a different way of looking at things, of believing in things, of believing in myself. believe in you that you can't do things, but you will have to come up with that belief system by healing the old belief system or that data that is in the background that is there. Treasure it, save it. It comes handy sometimes, but it doesn't make you. Remember who you are. It's a great being. And how do I know that? Well, when we were created like a little sperm, and out of millions and millions and millions, okay, you made it. Yes, you, out of all those millions. And it was you for a reason, because you had the tenacity, because you had a purpose. There's not there's not two of you, there's only one of you. Remember that. So you got into your mother's uterus and you said, I'm going to stick here and I'm going to be born because I want to live. I have a purpose. All of this just by instinct, just by free will, call it. And you decided to grow legs, arms, feet, toes, and you name it. And there you are, fully developed for 9 months. And one day you decided, you know what, today is a good day for me to meet the world. You didn't ask your mother for permission, by the way. You just said, I exist. I am here. You're a great being. And you've been making great decisions from the moment you were conceived. The only difference is that we started collecting all those data that unfortunately kind of puts us in the background and make us believe, because we now associated our belief system with our being. We think we are our brains, but we're not. Our mind is one thing, our being is another. And so now the being is just there in the corner and the mind is running. And I know because I've been there. I've been driving for about an hour, and all I can think of is, when did I cross that light? Did I make the stop sign? Was that there before? Because my mind is in automatics. It's running the algorithm. Okay. Now, but the being is a tenacious little baby that grew in the mother's tummy for 9 months and eventually decided to be born one day with no permission. And you came. And not only you came, but you figure out a way to feed yourself without anybody teaching you how or telling you how, because you didn't understand the language anyway. And you made it because you knew it had to happen. You knew it was possible. And so that was your belief system. Your belief system at that point was everything is possible. You started walking because you knew it was possible. Nobody told you could do it. Nobody told you couldn't do it because you didn't understand the language either. You see? So as long as nobody tells you cannot, your being says everything is possible. And that's how a lot of individuals out there have been able to create amazing things, okay? Because they believe it's possible. They still have that baby mindset, as I call it, fresh, with no muckety muck, no data, not overloading processes. So they're not in the automatics. They're constantly creating, developing things. So when you go back to the original file, the original being, you find a lot of opportunities there. And I invite you to start creating a list of things that you know are there, but you may not think it's possible because there's something in your files that is not congruent with your being. The mind has something there that somehow your being has associated with it. But there's no association at all because that was just an event that is just in the past. It's just a memory. It's not your truth. It's not your evidence of today's life. So once you start going back to your belief system, you realize how an awesome being you are, why you believe in what you believe, and how you can create a better belief system, a more powerful belief system for yourself. And ask yourself questions every single day to the being, not the mind. Remember, you question the mind and the intent and the evidence of what it's bringing you with those memories and those feelings. But the being you ask the being yourself these questions every morning, and I highly invite you to do it. I've done it for many, many years now, and it has worked great for me. Every morning when I wake up, I ask myself, what do I value most? What am I most grateful for? Who do I love? But more importantly, who loves me? If you ask yourself these questions every day before you start your day, the being in you is going to take charge. It's going to get empowered because you're talking to the being, the one that is connected to everything, yet it's not attached to anything. It's free, just like that baby. And when you do that and you have that momentum, you can create a ton of things, beautiful things, right? So also, I'm a huge fan of Oprah Winfrey. And one of the things that I love about her is that she never starts any conversation, interviews, or programs without asking this first. What are the intentions for today's program? Or what are the intentions for today's interview? Or what are your intentions about this conversation? An intentional being is that one that understands its purpose, his or hers. So the next question asked after asking, what are most important to me? Who do I love? Who loves me? It's what are the intentions of today? I have 24 hours again because I'm a lovely being. God loves me, gave me another 24 hours. What am I going to do? What are my intentions for today? When you figure out the intentions of the day or your intentions, then you develop a higher purpose, a higher being, another level. Again, you will only know that once you realize what is your belief system. So let's just go through some belief systems. Okay, we talked about what do we believe from before, money, people, knowledge. So let's start with money. Money's a big one, especially in the world of entrepreneurial individuals, business individuals, visionaries. Okay. I have a quick story about money because I honestly believe in relationships, in creating value as opposed to money. So the story goes, a gentleman comes to a bed and breakfast at a little town, and it's around 10 in the morning, and he says, I need a room for the night, please, and I will pay the $200 for the night. The lady says, great, no problem. This is your key. This is the room number. Thank you so much for joining us. She takes the $200, goes to the butcher and says, here's the $200 that I owe you for the meat and everything you provided for me for the last 2 weeks. Gratefully, he takes the money to now the baker and tells the baker, thank you so much for all the things that you provided for me so I can maintain my meat preserved and good for another 2 weeks. The baker takes the money and goes on to the carpenter and says, thank you for the new oven you built for me. Here's the money that I owe you. Thank you for your services. So the carpenter takes the money back to the bed and breakfast and says, here's the money that I owe you for the time my parents came to visit. So thank you so much for your service. A few hours later, the gentleman that had arrived earlier to ask for that room comes down and says, forgive me, I will not be staying after all. I must leave now. May I please have my $200? And so he did. He got his money back and off he went. Now, the question is, did anybody make any money that day? No, the money didn't stay in the town. It was gone. He took it back. But all the debts in that town were paid that day. So the moral of the story is that we work for one another. We have goods. We trade goods. Okay? We are the very best. And it's all about the building relationships. It's all about the connections, like what we have right now. All these women in this platform, it's phenomenal what we can do when we build amazing relationships, right? So that's a belief system. What do you believe about money and relationships with people? What do you believe about people? That's another good question. If you believe that all people are bad, or people are rough, or that people don't want to help others, then probably that's the result you're going to get. But if you believe that people are genuinely good, that the world created perfect, like that baby, remember? And that everybody has something great within them, and that maybe their actions or the way they go about is because they're in their automatics and they're going about their collected data. Remember the mind, and their being is put in the back burner. But if you take the time to try to connect with everyone at the being level, not at the mind level, at their emotional level, you find out that genuinely most people are great people. They're just in their automatics. They're just in their collective data. You will make greater connections, better connections, more impactful connections. Okay? So, genuinely, most people are great. That's my belief system. I believe that everybody has good intentions. I assume goodwill. Okay? I don't believe that people wake up every morning thinking, who am I going to ruin today's day? Unless you're a psychopath. But I doubt it. So, again, what do you believe about people? I believe it doesn't matter what people do to me. Most people were born great, perfect. It's just that they receive a group of collective data inherited from parents, environment, situations, and now they believe that that's who they are. But once you show them and you help them to realize that that's not their reality and that they can be great beings, now you become an outstanding mentor, and now you're changing people's lives. But you must start within. So figure out your belief systems, right? Reprogram your belief systems. Remember, the mind is a great algorithm and it's on automatics. So imagine that. You must have this conscious way of questioning the intent, the evidence, the integrity of that data. Now that you know this, you can go about doing that every single day and make better judgment and make better decisions and have different emotions about what you believe about people, money. Now let's talk about what you do believe about knowledge. So there's a ton of belief systems around what is it that I know that I know. I know that the earth is round. I know where I'm from. I know a certain language. I know that I know that I know. So in general, there are three areas of knowledge. The things that I know that I know that I know. And sometimes that's not even 10% of our capacity of knowledge, of creation, of development. Not even the smartest man has ever to be able to accomplish 10% of what we can do. But that's the 10% that I'm going to call it, that I know that I know that I know. All right. There's another part of the general knowledge, and is that I know that I don't know. Okay. So I know that I don't know how to swim, and that's true. Shamelessly, yes. So I know also that because I don't know how to swim, I don't enjoy the vacations as much as my kids and my husband in the pool or, in the ocean, having a great time. So now I know that if I want a better quality of life, better experience, create better memories, I must make that something that I have to put in my bucket of I know that I know that I know to master. So there's a ton of things that you don't know or have not yet experienced for whatever reasons. Again, all that data that comes back to you that's stopping you from moving forward. But imagine if you, for one moment, you were actually capable of doing that, to know that, to know that, to know. So I invite you to make a list of those things, your desirable things that you don't know, but they could be crucial for your growth, for your development, to get what you need to get. Tools, resources, connect to people, whatever that is, make a list and try to make that the master thing for the end of the year or whatever it takes. Because once you tap into those things and you know that you know that you know, you will create more value, not just for yourself, but the people around you. And you have a much better quality of life and experiences of life and memories, a better collected data, and a better belief system. So let's go to the third one. So we know that we know that we know. We know that we don't know. So now let's go to the third one. We don't know that we don't know. And that it is the discovery process. There's a ton of things out there that we don't know that we don't know. And there are people out there willing to show us, ready to show us, like coaches, mentors, friends, colleagues, a ton of people that we can learn from. So if your belief system is that I know everything, I don't need help, then you're just good as you. And that's it. It taps it off there. But if your belief system is that I don't know what I don't know, and you're a curious being, remember a curious being, that baby, you get to learn a ton more from others and you become more resourceful, more powerful, therefore more valuable. If you want to make more, earn more, you must learn more. So again, what is your belief system about knowledge, education? I'm going to be very honest with you. I believe that you can learn a ton of things without earning a degree. You can earn a degree and still have a very narrow-minded belief system. The best knowledge in the world is the curious mind. That one that knows that there's a ton of things that we have not learned yet and that we haven't even tapped into the 10% max. So if you're constantly learning, if you're constantly curious, again, you will become not only more knowledgeable, but more powerful, more resourceful, more impactful. So again, what is your belief system about education, knowledge, general knowledge, hidden knowledge, whatever the case might be? So again, we talked about belief systems between money, people, knowledge. Let's go back to you. What do you believe about yourself? Do you believe that you can do things, that everything is possible? Can you consciously and at your own choice, by the way, everybody has choices, go back and say, I want to start fresh and I'm going to pull all those files aside and I'm going to keep them there because that's part of my experiences. But I want to know what belief systems I can generate and make those the powerful belief systems that's going to carry me on through my vision to my future. I know that this Women Economic Forum Caribbean came from a vision, came from a desire. And that desire had something that it was attached again to everything, yet it's not. It's connected to everything, pardon, but yet not attached to anything. Has been able to connect to all these women in the world, making a difference. Yet we're not attached and stranded to nowhere. We have this freedom of creation, development, helping others, make our voices heard. So if you were to give in that opportunity, which you have, the freedom of choice to choose for what you really want to believe in and make you better as a human being, then what would that be? So if there's something in the background, again, that data, that file, I know we all have them. I have mine. It's called divorce. Okay, it's there. I need it because it reminds me how tough I am. It reminds me how great of decisions I've made since then. It reminds me how brave, really, that's the word that I'm looking for, brave I am. Um, so it's good to have those files, but I'm not that file. I'm not those emotions that I went through at the time, okay? Because I'm not that person. Today's situation is not my current situation that it was then, but I use that energy to say, I'm so proud of you. Look what you've done. Look what you've been able to go through. And you're here. It didn't kill you. And it's not going to kill you. You know that because now you're going through it. The evidence is I'm still here. Again, belief systems. Everything it's rooted into what you believe. Where have you associated yourself with? And at what point your being thinks that it's your mind. Your mind is a great tool, like I said. And it's an automatics at times. And it's a great algorithm. If you focus on how to quiet your mind by asking powerful questions, intentional, questioning the intent of bringing that data back. If you do that enough, you're going to be able to reprogram that belief system and therefore heal whatever that is bugging you, that it's being hindering you, that it's stopping you from moving forward and making you a great human being, greater human being, I should say. So ask yourself those questions. Another exercise that I want you to try is to write down a list of things that people say about you. Okay. And I mean good things, because again, most people are generally great. If they say something nasty, it's because they're not in the right state of mind. They've gone through their own data and emotional roller coaster. It has nothing to do with you. So, but if somebody says, you're awesome, you are brilliant, you're witty, believe it. It's true. Why? And this is an ancient belief system too. And I like it because I put it into practice and it does work. Most people have three individuals, okay? Um, or at least the mind seems to think that knows three beings in us. And there's the one that we present in front of an individual, our representative. Usually that's the one that goes on a first date or to an interview for work or to impress somebody. Okay? That's your rep, your PR, sales rep. And then you have the other one, which is the one that you see yourself of. Usually, we're very critical of ourselves. And so we are our worst enemy. And we tend to not be kind to ourselves through that lens. Okay? So that's something that I usually try to avoid, trying to look at myself through that lens, because I know the ego is also there. And there is the other one, the one that people actually see of ourselves. Okay. So it doesn't matter who I sent over to represent me or who I think of myself. At the end of the day, people connect with the being, the true self, and they eventually get to connect with you. So if you're consciously knowing that other individuals are sending the representatives, and you're true to yourself, not sending the representatives, not being critical of yourself, just one being connected with another, you will realize how amazing people are. So again, ask yourself those questions. Who do I love? Who loves me? What is my purpose for today? What is my intentions of the day? Okay, what I value most. Connect to one another at their being level. Understanding that we are here to trade goods, to trade talents. That money is just a thing that happens when you do what you love and you do with passion. that relationships matters most than anything else. Okay? That most people generally are good. Whatever your belief system is, question your mind's intent. Try to change it and go through that process of writing down all the great things that people say about you. Then write down all your attributes. Okay? Write down every single thing that you're proud of, including riding that bike for the first time. That's an accomplishment. Being able to travel. For some people, that is a great accomplishment. When you start writing every single accomplishment you've ever had in your life and you go through it, it's going to give you a sense of achievement, a sense of you do exist. You are somebody. You are living. You are a being. You're not your mind, a collective data. You're a great being. And if you're constantly in that mode, I guarantee you, the way you see things, the way you see yourself, the way you see people, and opportunities, especially opportunities, you get more creative too. You will have more impact, not only in your life, but in a ton of other people's lives. So if you're a woman here today thinking, how can I make a difference? How can I take my company to another level? How can I diversify myself? How can I evolve in my company? Again, I like evolution, not revolution. Because, by the way, there's a lesson to learn always. Okay. And the mind eventually is going to keep bringing back all those things until you condition and your teach your mind to be useful and be efficient to your benefits. That's going to keep coming back. And I think that's the lesson we must learn. I think this is a great life to be a great student. And we must utilize our tools efficiently. So, what is stopping you from moving forward? What needs to happen in order for you to become, it's all about the being, become A, B, C, D. Master those things that you know that you don't know, but they're crucial to you. How can you move on? How can you take your company to another level, your organization to another level? How can you impact other people? How can you influence other people to believe in your vision, to support your vision? I admire the director of Women Economic Forum Caribbean because it's a young person with a great vision. And here we are, all of us, a ton of women that believe that, yes, we have something that can help another woman to be better, to get better. Again, write down all the things that have stopping you from moving forward, from becoming that greater human being that you can possibly be. Question the intent of your mind. Question everything that you've ever learned. And where does it come from? Is it useful to you? Does it have good intentions? Does it have evidence that today is a good day for those belief systems? Or maybe those belief systems need to be rearranged. Now, I'm a huge believer of tradition, don't get me wrong. But also sometimes tradition can be hindering or has simply no meaning. Like the traditions, for example, in Afghanistan, the traditions in Africa, the traditions in many other countries. In our hometown, for example, my mother, believing that a woman has to stay home and have kids and feed the husband and feed the children and keep a clean house. And that was it. That was her purpose. Well, no, I realized that there's a different belief systems for me and a huge and even better belief system, hopefully, for my daughters. So I remember, to give an example again, I wanted to send my child, 16 years old, to travel with the school. And my mother said to me, aren't you afraid something's going to happen? My response was, my fears are my fears. It is not fair that my child lives her life through my fears. She will have her own because she will have her own experiences. So it's not fair for me to inherit that belief system on her. She has her own life and I have mine. Therefore, also another belief system that I have is that My experience doesn't have to be my child's experience. They can have a greater, better one on their own. I also believe that if you were raised in a household where you were in survival mode, feelings were not spoken um, or shown, it doesn't mean that it's your reality with your children. You can make a conscious decision that you want a different belief system because human beings, it is greater for a human being to allowed to love than being loved. And that's the reason why a lot of women ended up in tough relationships, toxic relationships, because they want to love so much that individual or whoever's in front of them, and is greater than being respected, being loved back. But when you allow your children to show you love, to give you all that great being that we were created with originally, it's all love, then they become loving kids, calm, powerful, loving kids. And they take that to the next generation. And I believe in leaving a legacy. So you want to leave a legacy of healthy children, healthy young women, and give them tools to be able to heal those wounds, emotional wounds. So teach them all these techniques, but apply it to yourself first. Okay, I promise you they do work. Be consistent about it. A great habit acquired in consistency of that habit makes what we call excellence. I invite you to become excellent, to become extraordinary, in, and be powerful and intentional on how you want to change your belief systems because you want different results. Um, Again, just ask your mind what files need to be in front and what files can be put in just a nice box because they're there. They were useful at some point, right? Again, your mind, it's in automatics, so be careful. You will find yourself doing the same thing over and over, but it's okay. It'll take time. That algorithm is still going to come back. You're still going to have those feelings attached to those memories, but those are just that feelings, memories. Your mind is very powerful because you can remember a joke and laugh. How many of you have found yourself remember a stupid joke and all of a sudden you're laughing all on your own, alone? Or you can remember something sad and all of a sudden you're weeping and you're generating tears. Your mind, by bringing all those memories, it's extremely powerful, but you're not your mind. You are a great being, phenomenal, powerful, outstanding being. So put that energy where it belongs. I love to keep this conversation. I appreciate the time and energy you've put into being here, present today. Love to connect with you at another event. This is a great event. Don't miss the next speakers. There's so much more to come. I cannot tell you. Thank you so much for letting me be here, letting me serve you. We're looking forward to our next conversation. I'm open to chat, so thank you again. Don't forget, you're awesome being. You're not your mind. You were created for great things. Go out there and impact the world. Thank you so much. Thank you all.